to another episode of Chewing on the Wire Radio on the COTW. Today, we are doing something a little bit different, something new. We'll do every so often, maybe not every game. Something different. We are doing our new Power Swing pregame show. And the reason I wanted to do this was not just to give us a little more something on our channel here, but also because we get a lot of early access to a lot of, whether it's Guardians games, just MLB games in general, and I figured maybe we should do something with that, do something cool, see what we can do with this type of thing. And now granted, today's game that we're focusing on, the Guardians at the Los Angeles Angels, is not one of those games. We don't get early access or anything because it's an away game, but regardless, you gotta start somewhere. So why not give it a test right now during an away game? In case all this technology we have, etc., doesn't work, we don't want to have to lug it downtown and figure out it doesn't work. We can figure out it doesn't work in just our alternate studio, which is where we are today, not at our regular place. Just in case things sound weird, etc., that is probably why. Anyway, that first song we just played, of course, by Last Alive, who else? Off their just less than a year ago, October 2023 album called Nightmare. That one was called Little Midnight, in reference to Cedar Point's Mr. Midnight. If you don't know, Donovan, myself, and Scott have all been scare actors, or, doing various other jobs at Cedar Point for years now. Donovan's job as a scare actor was in the Midnight House. And you can kind of give your character its own name, etc., and he was literally one of Mr. Midnight's minions, so his name was Little Midnight. But regardless, the reason I played it today is because it's going to feel like midnight when this game starts, a 9:30 p.m. game, because it is on the West Coast in LA. So anyway, with that, let me get back to my notes here, because I just did that all out of order. Love when I do that, but at least I'm getting everything covered. That's a good thing. Anyway, let's get more into what this show is about, just a little bit. As the lead is all falling out of my mechanical pencil, we may be out of lead now. Wonderful. Lovely. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, getting back into more about the show, etc., We're probably going to go max 20 minutes here. We're not going to go super long. We wanted to just kind of have a roundup show, you know what I mean? We didn't really want to do carbon copy of other pre-games. I think they're really long. No offense to anyone listening to this. If you're part of the actual Guardians pre-game, listen to this before the pre-game, etc., no offense, but they're long, kind of boring, go off on random other topics, as if we don't do that all the time. But anyway, we just want to do something quick. Like I said, we go to BP a whole lot, kind of show you what we see, show you who's out there, If we did this earlier, we could have told you. I believe it was on Monday this week, Stephen Kwan for the Guardians was out there taking BP. That's always a good sign. He's been out with an injury for a little bit now. But, yeah, we just want to cover our bases, kind of use our abilities for something good rather than evil, as I always promised that I would. So speaking of the Los Angeles Angels and the Cleveland Guardians, the Guardians have been on an absolute hot streak, an absolute tear, but they had a little oopsie, they had a little problem with the Angels the last time they played them. And now, granted, the back half of the series, the last two games of the series, the Guardians won. I believe it was 7-1 and 4-something, I want to say. Do I still have my scores up? It looks like I do right here. Where are the Angels at? So Guardians won 7-1 on May 4th, Saturday, and they did win 4-1 on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. We were at that game. That's one of our videos on our Chewing on the Wire YouTube page, if you'd like to see that. What I'm referring to, a little oopsie-daisy here, Friday, May 3rd, the Angels, who have been struggling this year, and the Guardians, who have been on a hot streak, the Angels won that game by a score of 6-0. Now that, my friends, is a little rough. Am I worried? I don't know. And I say I don't know because it seems like... I don't know. I feel like the Guardians need to play a team once, and they kind of figure them out. Now, baseball is really a sport where either team can win at any time. Just because you figured them out doesn't mean you're going to have all the luck in the world every time you play them, but I feel like they didn't go up against the Angels yet. So it was like, alright, we see the error in our ways, always learning, as their players say. I believe that was Austin Hedges in a more recent interview with talking with him. But I'm also not worried because I feel like, again, now that they've seen them, they can take care of business. But I am kind of worried because the Guardians have been able to beat some great teams. The Twins, got to stay on top of your division, etc., etc. But I don't want them to overcompensate for the fact that they lost to this Angels team once and start doing too much, because 2 series from now, not the next series, 2 series from now, they play the Kansas City Royals, who is in their division, and not only that, they're in second place in their division, kind of battling back and forth with the Guardians. So it's almost like we need to keep winning games to stay on top of our division, but really, I'm hyper-focused on the Royals right now. So I think we can take care of business here. And as you see, as if you Bing them, actually, if you Bing the Cleveland Guardians, Microsoft Bing keeps opening up instead of Google. I'm not a Bing user. It just keeps popping up on my computer when I turn it on first. They're trying to force me into using Bing. The win percentage for the Guardians, they're predicting, their hypothesis. The Guardians have a 50.8% chance of winning, and the Angels have a 49.2% chance of winning. And so that is what I'm talking about when I say I think everyone thinks the Guardians have this, especially with how they've been playing, etc., etc. No offense to the Angels, but just how the Guardians have been playing. But I think the big worry is, quite honestly, that's what we all thought on May 5th. No, I misspoke. May 3rd. And you look what happened? The Angels, at home, the game was in Cleveland, scored 6 runs. Left the Guardians with a big goose egg. So who's to say what's going to happen now that we're out in beautiful Anaheim? They're not actually playing in Los Angeles, even though they're called the Los Angeles Angels, one of many names the teams had, including the Anaheim Angels, but not to exclude the Anaheim Angels of... No, I misspoke. Not to exclude the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Or the California Angels, because sometimes you don't know what you want to be called, you know what I mean? You just don't know. You have no idea sometimes. Anyway, going in to the starting lineups, I say that with a grain of salt, I guess you'd say, because we gotta see if they're up yet. They were not sent to me this time. Usually I got those signed, sealed, and delivered into my Google profile, not necessarily my email, but what would you call it? Like on my Google chat type of thing, that type of situation. Send it to myself on the chat there. But tonight I did not. And sorry, I'm making this drag on way too long because I'm trying to go through and see if I can find them from my sources real quick, and my computer just went blue screen. And we're back. I don't know what happened with that. I was messing with where the thing was set up, so I'm sure I unplugged something on accident. Let's look at the Angels. Let's see if the Los Angeles. Let's see if I can scope them out. See if I can find anything good on here. I doubt it. We're still a little bit early. This is a pre-recorded episode, if you did not know. It's actually just pre-recorded about an hour or so before it comes out. just so it has enough time to make its way to Spotify, because I know you guys listen in a bunch of different places. And look at that. Our broadcast is accidentally playing there. We're going to turn that off. And my computer went blue screen again. As I said, expected technical difficulties. It happens anytime you're moving around, etc., etc. That's something I think we're going to have to fix later. Why did I don't know if we can get any technical help with that right now. My screen just keeps turning blue here. I'm trying to get you the good stuff. I think everything is plugged in right. I can't really reach down there. Anyway, something else to look at though. Quick little topic before we keep going. The Angels beat the Houston Astros by a score, not schedule. Now I'm confused on what I'm talking about. By a score of 2-1 on May 22nd. So that was 2 days ago. The Astros were another team Guardians are struggling with. So you can see they're starting to turn it around. We could have a real game here. Not to say that we won't. I'm just saying, when you look at it the way one team's playing against, how the other team was originally, I would have the Guardians bagging this one quick. Anyway, to move on from that, quick topic of conversation here. Something, almost a question to you, I kind of realized as I was messing around earlier today. Do you guys know how predominantly pitchers, I feel like, but just baseball players used to always, well, not all of them, it was an optional thing. They'd have their finger outside the glove, their index finger outside the glove, to the point that they started making gloves with an index finger holder kind of like outside the pocket of the glove. Just a random thought. I don't really see that anymore. I haven't seen that, at all. I remember that was the thing. I had a lot of posters of players when I was growing up, and my dad was always like, you're going to break a finger doing that, blah, 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 I never did it because it just felt uncomfortable, and I thought it looked weird, but I used to kind of see that a lot. It was a big, now, I can't even think of, let's see if I can find, I want to look up who I'm thinking of first. And the first thing I find, oh no, that's something else. Alright, so online, it seems like they're actually more so complaining about the fact that it looks like gloves are too small on the players and you can see the bottom of their palm. Different conversation for a different time. I can't find anyone specific, gosh, I just can't talk today. Oh, here's a picture of a batter just flipping someone off. Not at all what I was looking for either. And there goes the computer again. Blue screen. Alright, something HDMI-wise has to be unplugged there. And Google just does not understand what I'm looking for. Or actually, this is Bing. That's probably why it doesn't understand. But no, that used to be a thing. I feel like in the early 2000s, the whole, CC Sabathia days, I don't think he's one that did it, but there were multiple pitchers, I feel like, on the Indians at that time that I remember. Did Kerry Wood do that? If that was even the right person's name, I can't remember, but they had their index finger outside of their gloves. I don't see that anymore. And as I'm looking this up, well, like I said, the computer's shaking to crap, but as I'm trying to look this up, because I was also trying to look up if there's rules against it now, etc., but I can't find anything. That's a topic for another day, but an interesting thing. You can always message us, tell us what you think. I think you can leave comments on the bottom of this episode. And I, sadly, do not have, let me see if I can find it. Alright, here. You can text us. You can text the show at 216-489-2294. Again, that is text us at 216-489-2294. Can't call us there. Doesn't accept calls. One-way line. But regardless, text us. Tell us what you think. Is that a rule? Do you know something I don't? getting onto a very quick little bit of news. So, where did it go here? 21 Pilots today released a new album, released their album Clancy. Something I found interesting was they have a song on there called Midnight Indigo. When we were rebranding from the Friendly Fire show, we almost became Midwest something. We weren't quite sure. We were going to go with the Midwest Erno. We kind of, copyrighted, etc., all these phrases we still have copyrighted. Just trying to go something based on the Midwest thing, or you hear us say, no, never mind, a lot. And we're coming up with something no one else had, we can easily copyright, etc., So then I thought that was funny that they came out with Midwest Indigo just a week after that or something like that. Even though the song was probably recorded eons ago. I thought that was funny. I thought that was entertaining. Now we only have a couple of seconds. We are allowed to play for you. If we're even allowed. Very hazy on some of these rules, but it's like under 10 seconds, so on and so forth, something like that. So we're going to play you a quick clip off their new album Clancy, of a song called Navigating. Are the speakers on? We had a whole technical meltdown here. That's why I'm kind of talking slow and trying to figure stuff out, because there was a whole technical meltdown. My apologies if this is loud, if this is quiet, etc., etc. There's a quick little sample, like I said, of the song Navigating off their new album Clancy. I like it a lot. It is definitely something different, but it's a good different. Like, I enjoy this album this time. You may know my not so favorable opinion of their last one, Scaled and Icy, but I enjoy Clancy very much. We'll have a more in-depth look at that during one of our actual just daily/weekly shows when we're not focusing on the pregame here, but I really wanted to announce that because this is a big band to me, a big band to us here, also from Ohio, our neck of the woods, actually about 2 hours south of us. They're from Columbus. We're in Cleveland. Really wanted to put that one out there, though. Quick little bit of news, a little bit more involving Chewing on the Wire on YouTube. MLB teams covered, and will we get to every MLB team? Will we be able to feature every MLB team on our YouTube? That's the end goal, of course. Something I've always wanted to do, dreamed of doing when I was younger. And we kind of decided, you know what? We have so many of the National League teams that are far away, already done. We were able to get at least one of the LAs, so on and so forth. We looked at the Cleveland Guardians schedule, opened that up, took a look. We think we'll be able to almost get it done. And we say almost get it done because we are 6 teams short of getting it done. There are 6 teams that are not facing off against the Guardians this year, or if they are, it is an away game and not something we'd be able to directly cover, on the YouTube, and etc. Those teams are the Marlins of Miami, the Philadelphia Phillies, New York Yankees. We missed that series because that was before we decided, hey, let's knock out the rest of the MLB this year, because we had like 10 or 15 teams already done. The Atlanta Braves, Milwaukee Brewers, and Los Angeles Dodgers. But the situation is some of these, actually all of those teams, either play Pittsburgh, or at Detroit. So if you know, those are not far away from us. One's like an hour 45, and one's about 2:10, 2:15. So if we felt obligated, if we felt like, yes, we just want to get the MLB done this year, we could probably hit those up. And they're all spread out, too, so they don't, overcompensate. Another 21 Pilots reference. One of their new songs. Overcompensate. They don't overcompensate us, is the sentence I was saying, But I don't know if that's going to happen, because I don't know if we really want to hit the road that much, or go to Pittsburgh that many times, because we're already hitting the road for our Electric Applesauce Fest 2024. Well, one of the stops. Maybe two of them, if we add another one, which I'm not going to mention now. It's a surprise for a later date, but at least one of them is hitting the road. August 31st to September 2nd is our Chewing on the Wire Electric Applesauce Fest in Pittsburgh. And what is that? That's when we have a meetup at an amusement park, a live taping of our radio show, or maybe just a live radio show. There's going to be some music. That music in Pittsburgh is going to be, we're stopping there during the Green Day, Rancid, and Smashing Pumpkins Saviors tour. Some giveaways, some guests, so on and so forth. Something yearly, we're going to do at least one stop. We have two this year at least. This year. But we might be adding a third. But definitely two for sure. That's our Pittsburgh one, August 31st through September 2nd. Then the hometown one, the Cleveland one. Now I want to say June 21st through 23rd. I don't have those dates written because I thought I'd be able to memorize it. But I don't know that I did. That one's in Cleveland. Same thing. Giveaways, guests, live taping. Everything you can possibly imagine. But in Cleveland, going to the Guardians game, June 22nd. And the music for that one, and the reason we picked that game out and that weekend out specifically, is because Shaq is in town, Shaquille O'Neal, and he's playing a DJ set as Shaq Diesel. I'm pretty sure that's his name. That's what I have written down. So once again, that will be our new annual Electric Applesauce Fest, where we go back out on the road, just like we're famous for, like you guys know we always do, like you enjoy seeing about on our YouTube. But instead of doing a bunch of trips, because that takes a lot of money, a lot of planning, and too much time, we don't necessarily have running both radio show, YouTube, and we do have jobs still, believe it or not, other jobs. So we decided let's just do it once, maybe twice, 2 weekends out of the entire year, maybe 3, stretching it to say 4. I'd probably keep it around 2. Those were our 2 this year. We're in Pittsburgh, August 31st. You know what? I should probably say them in order. We're in Cleveland, our hometown show, June 21st through 23rd, and then in Pittsburgh, August 31st through September 2nd. Kind of in Erie, too, because I don't think we're going to Kennywood. Another long story there. Kennywood's messing us over. I don't want to use any bad words, but Kennywood's not being very nice. But yeah, my thoughts trailed there for a moment. Anyway, I think that's all we have for today, as I am struggling to find our outro song here, which, again, from last live, one we've played quite a bit here, but I'm going to keep playing because it's a new song. I want to promote it. I want to make sure everyone knows about it. Another Last Live song called Alone Home. Let me just say again, thank you very much for listening and tuning into episode 1 of The Power Swing Pre-Game on Chewing on the Wire Radio, the COTW. Something that I gotta do today. There's no one that I wanna see today. There's nothing left for me to do today. 'Cause I'm just alone. I'm just alone. I'm just alone without you. 'Cause I'm just alone. I'm just alone. I'm just alone without you.